Hey everyone, Flint Truth Channel. Hope everyone's doing well. It's Wednesday, January 25th, 2023 at approximately 1 o'clock, 12:55 p.m. Um, I want to take you guys back to 1999, December 31st, New Year's Eve. Some of you are probably aware of what I'm going to go into this and, are very well of the story, and you probably have done some research into it. Others have not. But during the Y2K scare of 1999, there was something else that happened that was a major event that really hasn't been talked about in a long time. It hasn't really been, as far as I know, exposed by any YouTuber. But this is the George Harrison stabbing, where he was supposedly stabbed in the chest by a burglar. The guy was 33 years old. Of course, the Freemasonic code hoax number. It happened at 3:30 in the morning. Of course, there's your 33 again. And there's so many videos of where people explain, what 33 means to Freemasonry, without having to go into a great big detail and explain to everybody what it means, the significance of the number 3, the Trinity, and just the whole thing. So go look that up if you're not familiar with Order Out of Chaos, the number 33, and Freemasonry. It's their hoax code. It's the number that they use to let the initiated know that they're behind this event that's taken place, and that they're the ones who's controlling it. They're the mastermind, and to basically, like I said, let the initiated know, hey, this is not a real story. This is contrived. It is staged. It's fake. It's for public reaction. It's for public consumption. It's not the truth. And they code it with the number 33. And like I said, this story, just like all the other ones, is full of red flags. It's Swiss cheese, nothing but holes all the way through it. And we're gonna get to the bottom of some of it. I'm not gonna make this a very long video going through all the details, showing you all the numerology and showing you all the things that connect with this. But you can just go back to look at the Mark David Chapman with the whole John Lennon incident that happened in what was that? 1980, I want to say, like December 5th, 1980. I think that was when it happened. Excuse me, December 8th. Actually, if I would have just read down this article, it says it. December 8th, 1980. Supposedly John Lennon was murdered. Now, I don't personally believe that story at all. You guys can believe it. I choose not to believe that. I do not believe that John Lennon really died. I believe that the elite love their puppets. They love their little puppets. They make these little so-called public heroes, and they have the world fall in love with him. And then, the whole world puts their faith in, hey, John Lennon can help us. John Lennon can bring this truth out, or help get the world back to how it's supposed to be, or whatever their hopes and desires are. That's a big part of it. But like I said, I don't believe it personally. I don't believe that John Lennon was killed on that day. I believe that it was contrived, that it was made for mass public hysteria. And I don't believe it was true. There's actually a video supposedly where I think it's called "Paul McCartney Really Is Dead: The Last Will, the Last Testament of George Harrison." I believe it's called, and supposedly it's a video about how Paul McCartney really died in 1966, and the Beatles coded their work through symbology and other ways, other things, album covers and stuff like that. And you could find the secrets if you're have a keen eye and you look into things. And the video is kind of satire. It's, there's some truth, I'm sure, mixed into it, mixed with a lot of lies, and mixed with, it's a story that they're trying to sell you. And is it true? Did he really die in 1966? Who knows? Okay, but I do know that all these things are pre-planned. Okay, these public little hoaxes, these are pre-planned long in advance. These events are pre-planned long in advance. They're not going to just take the risk. But we're going to talk about we're going to talk about George Harrison. Supposedly at 3:30 in the morning, his estate was broken into, with his wife, his son Danny, and supposedly this guy scaled his estate like Spider-Man, carrying a statue of Saint Michael that his wife made, smashed through the window when he got to the top. I guess it didn't alert any of the security guards. They didn't hear the glass break in. They didn't see nothing on camera. They didn't have no motion detectors, no radar, no type of nothing, and no bodyguards, no security, no nothing for them to catch this guy, to hear anything, nothing. He made it all the way into George Harrison's house, made it all the way upstairs into his room, started stabbing the Beatle. Now, if you guys believe that, then you guys will believe anything. And this is when they know that they got you, that they hoodwinked you, is when you start believing these crazy, unbelievable fairy tales. And it's very easy for them to sell stuff like this to the public. So let's read it. George Harrison nearly faced a similar fate while asleep in his home on Friar Park Estate near Henley on Thames, Oxfordshire. Harrison was attacked at 3:30 a.m. There's that 33 hoax code again. And if you guys go looking, there's all kinds of like seances and evil things that like they try to get people to do, kids to do, at 3 o'clock, 3:30 in the morning. Artists will talk about how they're demonically possessed, and a ghost comes in there, really a demon, aka a demon, comes in them, and ghost writes a song for them. Or there's just so many rituals and so much witchcraft and things behind 3:30 and 3, that should be another red flag for you guys. The perpetrator scaled the estate walls. Yeah, like Spider-Man, I guess. Just like the guy in the Donald Trump building, right? Yeah, right. All these things are public things that are made to happen because they love the reaction. They know the public is going to eat it up. They're going to talk about it. They get off on the energy. The vibrations and energy is what you hear about these occultists talk about. The perpetrator scaled the state walls, evading security, and broke in through a window using a wing of the statue Saint Michael that George Harrison's wife made. George Harrison proceeded to intercept the intruder and charged at him head-on. Harrison, however, failed to disarm the man and suffered multiple stab wounds as a result. Yeah, supposedly over 40 stab wounds. Harrison's wife, Olivia, struck the intruder, 33-year-old Michael. Now, 33, your code, hoax. There's your code number right there. At 3:30 in the morning, they threw it in there. Again, Michael's 33 and 22 in numerology. I mean, there's just so much behind this. Like I said, they get off on these public events, right? They and people will be like, "Wow, can you believe it?" It's all about fear, because they want you to think if somebody can break into a Beatles house, they can break into your house. They want you to think that anything can happen. That's the whole point. Olivia struck the 33-year-old Michael Abram, a native of Liverpool, with a poker. Harrison's wife recalls of the incident. I hit the guy several times, and I could see the blood spreading down his blonde hair, and then he got up and chased me. He had me around the neck, and George got up and jumped on his back. And poor George, he said later, just when he got off me, I was thinking, oh good, now I have to go fight him. Olivia recalls the last part of the story with bittersweet fondness. While the event was tragic, it was overshadowed by the former Beatles' sense of humor and wit. See? Give me a break. Even though George was closing in on death, he still maintained his wits, as when he and his family were questioned by the police as to the nature of his crime. Now, how many people do you know that get stabbed 40 times and live? It wasn't a burglar. It was certainly... and he certainly wasn't auditioning for the Traveling Wilburys. Fortunately, George Harrison did not die as a result of his injuries and was treated at a hospital for a punctured lung. After an investigation took place, it was determined that this was not merely a coincidental burglary gone wrong, but a planned attack on Harrison. Yeah, this was all a contrived fake attack. Okay, nothing ever happened to him. Michael Abram, not unlike Mark Chapman's killing of John Lennon, according to the court reports from the legal proceedings that followed at the time, believed that the Beatles were witches who flew around on broomsticks. Subsequently, George Harrison possessed him, and that he had been sent on a mission by God to kill him. He saw George as a sorcerer and a devil. These people all are sorcerers, and they are all devils. That is true. But if you think that guy wasn't a pawn, wasn't a tool of the elite, wasn't controlled, then you are falling for the facade. You're falling for the divide and conquer. You're falling for, these fake news stories. And that's what the majority of the news is. It's fake. It's contrived. It's not real. So I just wanted to share this with you guys. You can come to your own conclusions, what you believe, whether you believe it really happened, whether you believe it didn't happen. That's all up to you guys. But I will tell you, I don't believe the story with John Lennon. I do not believe this story about George Harrison. and it's my personal right to not believe it. Like I said, it's full of full of holes. It's Swiss cheese. There's red flags everywhere, and I'm not just talking about him being 33 and it happened at 3:30 in the morning. I've done a lot of research into this. I've done a lot of homework, and I can tell you from my belief that it's staged. And people will believe whatever they want. I think it was about almost 8-hour video on Kennedy assassination, and I went through all the evidence. I mean, I showed you the autopsy photos. I showed you, I mean, everything. I went through the numerology. It was one of my best live streams. It was on my last channel. They got taken down, coincidentally, of course, because it just was too much truth on there. But that was an awesome live stream. It was 8 hours, and I went through absolutely every detail around the JFK assassination, and I left, in my personal opinion, no stone to be unturned. And anybody that was doubtful, they came away watching those. It was like, it maybe was even more than 8 hours, because it was like an 8-part series, and some of them were. It probably was way more than 8 hours. To be honest with you, it probably was double that. But it was very, very in depth. I thought it was very well done, and I really wish that I could get those videos back, because they were, like I said, it took a lot of time. It was very well done. A lot of great research was done into that, which I have all the research still. I could redo it again and make the video again, but it would take a long time. Most of my videos, thankfully, I had saved up and backed up. And this channel, I have every video saved and backed up, just because I know better now. But my first channel, I wasn't as keen. I wasn't as aware, and so I didn't save every video, every live stream like I should have. So live and learn. But my point is when you do the research into these events like the JFK, the Mark David Chapman, all these so-called events, these, Robert Kennedy supposedly getting killed, the Sirhan Sirhan, you just do all your research and you do all your homework, you'll come to the same conclusions as I have. That this is all staged. It's all for mass propaganda. It's all to enslave the public and to enslave their minds and to control them and control their thoughts. And they have you. When they can control what you think, when they control what you fear and all that, they have you. So just wanted to share this with you guys. Like I said, you can take it as a grain of salt, or you can start doing some research, start looking into it, and coming to your own conclusions and saying, you know what, I'm not going to buy this official story either. Something doesn't add up. How come everything revolves back to the number 33 with all these elites? Why does that number always come into play? So when you start asking these questions, you'll start coming up with some answers. So with that said, I want to thank you all. Thumbs up the video if you found it useful. If you enjoy my work, I appreciate it. God bless you all, and I hope you all have a great day.